Life begins again in a German town under Allied control. The people go back to their homes. To the ruins the Nazis forced on their own land, in the wake of a war they launched against children like their own. Allied troops take over control of the town. First, the civil affairs officer sets a curfew for the townspeople inside clearly defined boundaries. In perfect safety, women move about. Law and order is restored. Second, the Allied civil affairs authorities organize the collection and distribution of food supplies to the entire community. Much of the town's food had been hidden from the Nazi soldiers. Now, all of it is rounded up and assembled in warehouses. Under strict military supervision, these supplies will be fairly rationed among the inhabitants themselves. In this way, the Germans learn their first lesson in Allied justice. The secret scourge of the skies. This is the history-making jet plane of the RAF. To battle Nazi air weapons, Britain and America together perfected this new type of skyfighter, the fastest thing on wings in the world, the aircraft of the future. Men of the United States Air Service Command are on a new kind of mission, one of goodwill among Allied troops. An entire plane load of cigarettes and candy has been contributed by American soldiers in the field. Each gave 1 week's rations for the benefit of Russian soldiers now located in England. The contribution is gladly received from their allies by these Russian soldiers, former prisoners of war now freed from the Germans and recuperating in British rest camps. The gift symbolizes again the cooperation and fraternity among men of all nations believing in the fight for freedom. On a field somewhere in England, the ground crews stand waiting for the bombers to come home. They count 20, 28, 35, all in. In the last 2 weeks of February, Nazi Germany was subjected to the most fearful air bombardment of the war, and this bombing had two major purposes. First, it was aimed in support of the great Russian drives near the Oder. Second, it was intended as a prelude to the Allied Rhine offensive in the West. By night, the British, by day, the Americans struck and struck again with terrific force at rail lines, rolling stock, and marshalling yards. The crews were questioned, reports were gathered, film was collected. Slowly, a comprehensive picture emerged of what the Allies had accomplished. In these films, a view is given of what thunder over Germany is like as the curtain rises on the last act of the war. At Stendal, 60 miles west of Berlin, it was the marshalling yards. At Wittenberg, 65 miles southwest of Berlin, again the marshalling yards. At Ludwigslust, it was a rail coke point and marshalling yards. At Nuremberg, through cloud this time, rail lines and marshalling yards. Bombers of the Allied Mediterranean Air Force came up from Italy to join in these tremendous blows. At Ansbach, the marshalling yards. The British joined in daylight. These are rocket-firing Typhoons. Mustangs and Thunderbolts of the United States 8th Air Force, strafe fields, hangars, and dispersal points of the Luftwaffe. The Allied fighters swept in over and over again, firing at point-blank range. At Lüneburg, again the bombers attacked marshalling yards. This was one of 30 rail targets which blocked nearly every main line in Germany. One bombardier said that in 28 missions he had never seen such fires as at Lüneburg. Ilsen, 50 miles north of Brunswick. There were 425 bursts directly on the rail lines. The roundhouse, the warehouse, 4 factories. The whole southern half of the yards were utterly destroyed. At night, it was the turn of the RAF. They went for Pforzheim on the Upper Rhineland. It was a rail center and manufacturing city. In this one raid, it was almost utterly destroyed. Nuremberg, Stendal, Ludwigslust, Ansbach, Berlin, Dresden, Ilsen, Lüneburg, Wittenberg, Pforzheim. From east, west, and south, ahead of the Allied armies driving forward, the droning of air power heralds the thunder of the final blows.